Hello, and welcome to Panther Sports Zone. I'm Drew Brewer.
And I'm Caleb Carter.
Okay. In the SWAC Tennis Championships, the Prairie View men's team unfortunately lost 4-2 against Alcorn State. In doubles, the Braves secured the point by taking the first and second matches 7-5 and 6-1 for an early advantage. Senior Jorge Calabro and freshman Joseph Gonzalez took singles 1 and 6, but the Braves won in the second, third, and fourth spot to take the overall match in the first round of competition.
Now we move to women's tennis. The women fared better, advancing all the way to the championship against Jackson State. Before doing so, they took down number 5 Alcorn State and number 2 Alabama State, both with a final result of 4-3. Against the Lady Tigers, the Lady Panthers' run unfortunately came to an end as Jackson State grabbed the first point of the day with the wins on the doubles court taking 2 and 3. In singles play, PV could not pick up a win, dropping the 3, 6, and 2 spots, leaving spots 1, 4, and 5 unfinished, with JSU claiming the 2022 SWAC championship. A bright spot for the team, Gabriel Leslie and Ruhu Shuhan were named to the All-SWAC tournament team.
Tomorrow, the PV men and women's basketball clubs will play against TSU in the Rumble in the Jungle event at the Rec Center. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. with the women's game held at 7 p.m. and the men's game proceeding at 8:30. Make sure to come out and support both teams as they play in the final game of the season.
Now to a little bit about our Lady Golf team. The Lady Panthers golf team finished up the two-day Women's Collegiate Championships, placing 5th out of 9 teams, a week after their third-place finish in the SWAC. Finishing first on the team, Iman Abraham was 9th for individual standings, followed by juniors Olivia Billups and Taylor Harvey, who tied at 16th and 22 for their 3 finishers on the team. Next up, the team will conclude its season at the PGA Works Championship Monday, May 2nd through Wednesday, May 4th.
With the final track and field competition of the regular season, the men and women's track team finished with good results. In the 200-meter dash, Asia Harris ran for second fastest time in SWAC this season at 24.22 seconds. In the triple jump, grad student Kaiser Roberts jumped out of the season's best with 12 meters. Both men and women 4x1 relays improved to run the fastest times in the conference this season at 40.33 and 45.88 seconds respectively. Sophomore Aaron Knight ran a season's best in the 400-meter hurdles, earning a time of 55.7 seconds. The Panthers will take this week off before coming back in action May 5th through 7th as they host the 2002 SWAC Outdoors Track and Field Championship. When we come back, we'll discuss all tennis SWAC and discuss more selections around the SWAC conference. More than this when we come back.
Hello and welcome back to Panther Sports Zone. Following this weekend's SWAC championship rounds, all tournament teams' most valuable player and coach of the year were announced. On the men's side, the most valuable player went to Chris Andre from Alabama State, and the coach of the year went to Anouk Christensen, also from ASU. Alabama State had 3 in the tournament teams, while Jackson State added 2 selections, with Alcorn State finishing with one of the teams in the top. On the women's side, the MVP award went to Paola Arkamrans of Jackson State, while the head coach of the year went to the lady coach of the Tigers, Coach Gabrielle Moore. JSU had the most members on the all-tournament team with 3, followed by runner-up Prairie View with 2, ending with Florida A&M with 1. The Jackson State Lady Tigers and the Alabama State Hornets tennis teams will learn of their next week's opponents during the NCAA scheduled to air this Monday, May 2nd on NCAA.com. The show starts at 6 p.m.
Yesterday, the SWAC selected Alabama A&M's Allison Riches and Alabama State's Bailey Greenlee for weekly softball honors. Riches produced an outstanding week, hitting an average of .5 and slugging .786 while delivering 4 doubles, 8 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. She also struck out only once while walking once. The pitcher of the week, Greenlee, finished with a .33 earned run average during 3 games inside the circle for the Lady Hornets. She finished the week with a pair of complete games and a shutout while logging 21 innings. Greenlee all allowed only 4 runs, 1 earned, and 13 hits with 13 strikeouts. This marks the 4th time this season Greenlee has been tabbed as the pitcher of the week.
For baseball, the conference announced its players of the week in Grambling State's Shamar Page and John Garcia. Garcia had a huge week for the Tigers at the plate, going 10 for 14 in games against Stephen F. Austin and Alcorn State. With the 10 hits, 5 were extra base hits, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and 1 triple. He also drove in team-high 14 RBIs, with 9 of those coming with 2 outs. In addition, Garcia had a 1.429 slugging percentage and a .722 on-base percentage. On the mound, Page became just the 34th NCAA Division I pitcher in history to toss a perfect game in Grambling State's 16-0 7-inning victory over Alcorn State on Friday. He currently leads the SWAC in strikeouts and threw just 84 pitches and struck out a season and career-high 13 batters during his historic performance.
Congratulations to the 2022 SWAC EA Sports Grand Champions D. Hall and Javon Jordan in representing their universities and securing $1,500 in scholarship money. Alabama A&M's Jordan won the NBA 2K tournament, defeating Southern's Tylen MacArthur in the championship final. In the Madden Championship, FAMU's D. Hall outmatched their opponent to take home the trophy. Congrats to all the participants and winners of this year's SWAC eSports Grand Championship.
Coming up next, we'll be talking about this weekend's football spring game for Prairie View. Stay tuned after the break.
Hello and welcome back to Panther Sports Zone. Joining today we have Caleb and myself, Drew, and we wanted to talk about the spring game that happened this past Saturday and the experience that we had being there, just the alumni fan base, the fan base from the students, the fan base from the athletic department, and everybody really coming together to produce an amazing spring game. We tried our best to give a live broadcast in the beginning. We had a great pregame show, and in the beginning for like about to the first half of the game, I believe, we had a good live stream and commented if you couldn't hear, but we were commenting on the game. But just the experience of being at the spring game was a very amazing experience to really take the next step level of PVMU TV as well as the sport. So how did you feel about the Saturday game?
I mean, you just said a mouthful because, I mean, we really did do a lot. I mean, and it was a lot that went into the day, right? I mean, you started off saying it. I mean, the alumni were out. It was a whole lot of fanfare. You had people, selling their merchandise, their PV merchandise. You had the tailgates coming out. It felt like old PV, right? I mean, it was just a good day. And then talking about our side before we get to the football side of things, I mean, it was a good experience, being able to do the pregame show. I mean, you had the chance to talk to Dr. Reed and get a little bit about his vision heading into the season. And commentating was a bit of a different experience, but I feel like it helped bring a little bit of clarity to the game, right? We began to see the whole field, right, instead of watching the ball like most fans do. But speaking on the game, I thought it was a great game, but I will say that the team still does have room for improvement, right? I mean, the defense was flying around for the most part, but the offense, they seemed to drag behind a little bit. Right. I mean, other than that first series, I mean, where they got down to the red zone but couldn't cash in. I mean, they seem to be getting stopped the rest of the way. So I just think they have room for improvement.
Yeah, I just looking back at that game, and it's funny that I'm laughing about it because I could just really see where you were coming from in that sense. Some of the things the offense could work on a little differently. Some of the things that is going to be a challenge coming up this new season about a lot of players, a lot of teams coming in that a lot of people said that from last semester wasn't a big challenge to PV. We had a couple of losses to like Incarnate World.
Yeah.
But other than that, they tried to make it seem like the teams that we were playing weren't as strong as they were going to be this season. So one thing that I did notice out there is the offense needs to be improved more. But I did like how the defense, especially the defensive line, was really able to get in there and really stop runs, was really ready to get to the quarterback, really be able to make plays. The defensive line was the playmakers for that defense. Most definitely, I would say that. So there's still things on both sides, defensive-wise and offensive-wise, that still needs to be improved. But all in all, it was a good first step to see how the team is doing and how they've improved so far under the leadership of Coach Bubba McDowell.
Right. I mean, and we can cut the offense a little bit of slack. I mean, because when we looked over at the sideline, the offense really didn't have their full, amount of players that they usually would have. So I guess, that could factor in as to why they didn't perform to the way we may have hoped. So I mean, and then Trayvon Collins is still working his way into that starting position. Getting his feet wet in that quarterback position, being the head guy now. So I mean, it's a work in progress. Offense is always harder to learn than defense. You gotta, Coach Bubba McDowell implemented his new scheme, so it's going to be a work in progress. But like you said, I mean, that defensive line they came to play, and that was without Jason Dumas. He was on the sideline, but that defensive line, if there was a standout thing, that would have been it.
Yeah, there were a couple of plays that the offense did. Number 27, Jaden Stewart, running back, did a very good job of finding holes and really going in and moving the ball down the field. Antoine, my bad. But Ahmad really did another good job, number 5, also a running back. And from what I could see picking it from it was about the 3 in the backfield, Ahmad, Antoine, Jaden Stewart, Trayvon Conley. Those 3 were the real workhorses of the football team at this time, because there were moments where Trayvon was getting bum rushed by people coming into the hole so fast, and he had to make a quick decision. So for him to really think on his feet, there was one play where he scored for a touchdown. And the whole play broke, but he was able to go out there and really keep his feet moving, keep the play going, and end up scoring. So those are some of the things that we can look forward to coming into the PV team for the football team. We can look forward to Trayvon really being able to take this leadership role. He's been here as a freshman. He's been under all these other quarterbacks who he's learned from. He's had the chance to really mold himself as a PV leader and a PV quarterback and to understand the scheme. Yeah, it's going to be difficult because we're going from Coach Dooley, who was an offensive dude, to now Coach Bubba, who's a defensive dude, who I can see. We saw at the game. The defense really was one of those things that they have really been working hard on. It's something that they really tried to improve. So, and defense does win games. Like offense scores, but defense wins games most definitely. So for the team to really improve on that defensive aspect and to really go out there and show the hard work that they've done for the fans and the alumni, it was something to really see.
Right. I mean, and I think it's just based off that spring game and what we saw, I think we can predict a pretty good season, right? We, as of right now, are we at that championship level that we were at last year? Perhaps not, but I will say that there was room for growth, and we did show a lot of promise in that in the spring game. But just going back to the day in general and the day as a whole, it was just good to see PV come out and show out the way that they did. I mean, we already talked about the alumni, the fans were out, and it was good to see everybody invested into the football team, right? I mean, because we all know when we look at Jackson State, we look at these other schools like Grambling, Tennessee State with Eddie George, they're going to have the fanfare, right, with these big names at their coaching position. So we want to see that with PV, right, because when we look at the players on the field, they get helped by the fans, right? That they need that home field advantage, and that's what we want to provide here at PV.
One thing I've noticed is something that the HBCU teams are doing, especially when it comes to football, is they're getting a lot of pro athletic help. You know, with Jackson State, Deion Sanders, Coach Bud McDowell playing in the NFL for a couple of years now. He's the head coach. Eddie George at Tennessee State. So all these people are coming in, and we're seeing that they're black coaches as well as that. So this is the next level for young kids that want to come to the HBCU level, because now a lot of times they're thinking like, oh, if I want to go to the NFL, I can't do that at HBCU because they don't get as much attention. Well, now we're getting all the attention now. Like, everybody's coming in, and you really did see that yesterday, not yesterday, but the spring game, that a lot of people are really trying to see this, what's going on. You know, we had a lot of things from Greeks coming over. We had alumni. We had the students. Everybody, the band was out there. Like, everybody was, it felt like a football game. It just, we was playing against each other. So this really something to see on how this is going to continue. Running back 22 is the slogan that they've been going on for the longest, and that's something that they really are really passionate about, that they're really focused on running it back 22 to get back to the championship and hopefully maybe see Jackson State again and get the W this time. Yeah,
and I guess one last quick point from me would be, because you made a real good point about the attention that HBCUs are getting. I mean, I don't know if you've been able to tune in to some of the moves that Alabama State has been making, but they have been able to get a whole lot of 3-star transfers, right? They've been able to get those transfers from these bigger name schools that we wouldn't expect, right? So I had the chance to see a 3-star transferring from Temple. You wouldn't normally see that, somebody transferring from a D1 Power 5 school to an HBCU, but now you're seeing that with all the love that HBCUs are getting. So, I mean, it's a good thing to see, and I can't wait to see what Prairie View has to offer. You know, running back 22, I want to see what they're able to do come this season.
Right. You know, one thing about PV, whether it's been football or other sports, we have been getting a lot of transfers from other schools and big-name schools. And I think that is a good thing, because now the more people that want to come, now you're going to get more exposure, because now everybody wants to see, well, what's making HBCUs like this? What's making it different? What's the difference in them? So now people want to come and actually experiencing it. And just being there, from the vendors to, they had bounce houses for the kids. They had an alumni game where alumni from previous football teams came and had a flag football game. Just a lot of very great energy. And when I spoke to Dr. Reed, you know, he was just talking about some of the things that he wanted to improve on, some of the things that he's looking forward to. He's looking forward to more support. He's looking forward to doing more things to helping the athletics, not just football, but athletics as a whole, to really get the exposure that PV needs in order to really make it to big-time level. So that's something that I feel like we really have been improving on as a culture here at PV, from the football team to even the fact that we were being able to be there to actually broadcast the game. Like that right there is a testament to what the type of things that we're doing here at Prairie View A&M. So I can honestly say that it is an exciting experience. It was an exciting experience to be out there. It was lots of fun, a lot of attention from everyone, and that was just something that I can say personally that I will be forever grateful for. And thank you for all the people who came out to support. Thank you for all the people that to continue to support PVMU TV and Panther Sports Zone, as well as all the shows that PVMU TV produces. We appreciate, and we thank all the alumni, and we thank all of the fanfare that we're getting, and we appreciate all you guys.
I mean, ditto. I mean, you said it all. I mean, we can really end on that. I mean, yeah. And that'll be all for Panther Sports Zone. Make sure you tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5:30 p.m. for more PV news and news around the SWAC. Once again, I'm Caleb Carter.
And I'm Drew Brewer.
And we're signing out.